Let's pick up on this conversation. Now, the ANC in Mpumalanga was expected to hold its long-awaited elective conference in February this year. Well, that time, it's come and gone, with no indication when a solid leadership structure will be installed in the province. One of the candidates hoping to be given a chance to lead the party in a different direction is former PEC member Peter Nyoni. He joins me in studio now to discuss the conference delays and potentially the kind of leadership that the ANC will need in order to regain trust with the people of Mpumalanga. Mr. Nyoni, thank you very much for your time. Are you that leader who is likely to help the ANC survive its next election? And if your answer is yes, what qualities do you bring?
I must indicate that I strongly believe, based on my conviction, based on my belief system, that I have what it takes to shape the future of the African National Congress in Mpumalanga. Mm-hmm. We have noted that the current provincial executive committee of the ANC is a serial constitutional delinquent, number one.
You talk about the leadership of the ANC in Mpumalanga?
Yes. It is illegitimate. It is dysfunctional. Why do I say so? It's a structure that was elected in 2015. Since that time, we all understand that the lifespan of a provincial executive committee of the ANC is 4 years. And then they are now approaching the 7th year without holding a provincial general council to fill in the vacancies which were left by the then chairperson, who is now the deputy president of the country. Secondly, they never held a provincial general council to assess their own performance in relation to the resolutions that they took in 2015.
Yeah.
The third aspect which I want to bring to your attention, now of late, you will understand that from the January 8th, we have the ANC National Lekgotla. Then we have the Executive Lekgotla. In Mpumalanga, we went to the Executive Council Lekgotla without the provincial, Lekgotla of the ANC to give strategic direction and force in terms of what government is expected to do.
Let me come in there for a moment. You see, I asked you a very specific question, and that is the qualities that you will bring as a leader of the ANC in Mpumalanga. Instead, you have veered off and spoken to me about the current leadership being delinquents and so on. We're yet to get there. I'm going to give you that chance. I want to come back to you.
What?
Here's my question. You turned 56 in January this year.
Yes.
That age, 56, is slightly a year older if you compare it to Julius Malema, who says he wants to retire from politics at the age of 51. One of the most talked about leaders right now in the world, his age, I'm talking about the Ukrainian president, Volodymyr Zelensky. He turned 44 in the same month that you were born, January. So I put it to you that, yes, you may not have reached your sell-by date within ANC structures, but you are going to be a hard sell to South Africans come election time.
I strongly believe that for one to bring about change, one does not need 3 terms of 5 years each. Within a period of 2 or 3 years, I can bring up that change. I'm taking that from one of the greatest leaders that went before us, Jesus Christ. He started preaching at 30, he died at 33. Because of his conviction and his understanding of the purpose why he was in a particular space, he packaged and changed the entire world. We have Christianity today based on that. So I don't need all those terms that people talk about. Within a short space of time, if I understand my mandate and my purpose very well, I can change it.
Mr.
Based on my attitude.
You've completely bamboozled me there. So You know of Jesus Christ. You've seen him before, is it? What race was he?
I read about him.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not always the case that whatever that you know is something that we have seen. I've read about him. I've read about his history.
Yes.
And I know it. And that is the man that made an impact. Equally the same.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. You've had the privilege of serving in government in Mpumalanga for a very long time. Can I ask you a question about that government's record when it comes to protecting whistleblowers, at a time when whistleblowers are being targeted and silenced, in part for some of the reports that we were talking about this morning, the state capture report? On a score of 0 to 10, how would you rate the Mpumalanga government on its protection of whistleblowers?
Well, I can as well say on a scale of 10, I can give them 3. 3, according to me, is not a very good...
It's interesting that you talk in... You almost talk as an outsider. You are the current Deputy Director General in the Premier's office in Mpumalanga. So how do you say they? Are you not part of this arrangement?
I am. It's just that I was putting it within the context for you to comprehend what I mean by saying 3.
Right.
Yes.
So 3 is the score that you give them. Based on what?
Based on the fact that, as I want to believe you had the opportunity to know that there are several, killings which were related to politics, which up to now, one cannot actually comprehend why some of these perpetrators have not been arrested.
And
because
exactly
I want to believe that for whatever incident that occurs at a particular time, there are people that know that such a thing has happened.
Yeah.
So the fact that people are unable to come to the fore is another challenge that says to one that within the political landscape, things are not fine.
Okay, let me quickly latch on to that. You are talking about whistleblowers Jimmy Mohlala and Semi Mpatlanyane. It's probably one of the few. These two were whistleblowers of government corruption. They were killed in 2009 and 2010, respectively. You will remember the words of the former Premier, David Mabuza, in 2016, this is years later, after their assassinations, where he says there is a so-called Project January 8. And what was Project January 8 about? I want to quote directly his words. He says, every January, someone must die. That's how he described this January 8 project. Have you ever asked what this January 8 project was about?
No, I've not asked.
Why not?
Because I strongly believe, based on what I know, that probably, as you have correctly put it, that they were killed as a result of corrupt-related activities and so on, which they exposed. And, logic is not always the truth, but the truth is logical. So I would not, under normal circumstances, know that in each and every January, a person that is actually seen as a whistleblower or a person that is about to blow up the cover will be assassinated. That would be something that falls, outside my scope as an individual. And again, I cannot account on what Mabuza said and what he meant by that statement, because probably he understood the context better than I do, or I did.
Well, it's interesting, Mr. Nyoni, because you are a government official, and as I said, you have been a government official in Mpumalanga for a very long time. Unfortunately, time is against us, and this is where we are going to have to leave it, but I'm hoping to invite you back again, and we'll talk further about the issues that are troubling the ANC in Mpumalanga, because this is just the surface of the conversation. All right, that's Peter Nyoni, and he is hoping to be elected in Mpumalanga as the chairperson of the ANC there.